Minecraft's progression is very calm, but I think it is a red light problem. The progression in Minecraft, if you could call it that, is designed to be optionally blitzed up until a certain point. You can take the game at any pace you want, and a lot more people now are choosing to take the fast track. If you have some knowledge of the game, you're rewarded with the ability to rush full diamond very fast. It is only 35 diamonds for a full set of armor and one of each tool, counting the hoe. That knowledge is really powerful, and it can't be erased, and so I think that's where a lot of people burn out. And if you're tired of the progression or burnout, this video is going to offer you some in-game changes you can make right now. And also, I'll finish it with a hypothetical idea I had for an addition to the enchantment system using a block that's already in the game. The game can easily become really trivial once you get to the best gear to efficiently make the builds you want. And if you're without an intrinsic desire to build, the progression track is not engaging long term. It's not rewarding along the way, and it has a big problem with proportional spacing between each step. Though I will say, if you don't have an intrinsic desire to build anything, maybe Minecraft isn't for you right now. Anyway, for an easily moddable survival sandbox game that is designed to be played in any way that the player really wants, the progression, and again, lack thereof, kind of works. You can rush up to whatever stage of the progression that you want, until you want like actual enchanted gear. Then you gotta wait. You can see that red light all the way down the road. It's your choice to speed up to be first in line to wait, or you can slowly cruise up to it and roll through when it turns. No matter what, you have to be prepared to stop for the red light.
Bruh.
So, to give some context to why enchanting feels like such a red light or a wall, let's talk about the actual progression in Minecraft. There are two types of game progression. Vertical, think Terraria, where you're going to go from A to B, and B is noticeably more powerful and things are locked behind progress. Think the dungeon guardians preventing you from going into the dungeon until you kill Skeletron. Then there's horizontal progression, where different parts of the game are open in whatever order you want. I think you can tell which one Minecraft's going to lean towards. Okay, so what does Minecraft's progression really look like, I hear you say? It starts fast with punching a tree and getting some wood for a pickaxe. Then you're going to throw that out as soon as you go mine 3 cobble to make a stone pickaxe. And then for like 5 minutes of mining, you'll use your stone to go get some iron. Then you can stay with iron for a little bit until you go find at least 3 diamonds, which I will say still feels like crack 12 years later. With your diamond pick, you just need like half a stack more for the best gear you can get in the overworld. And that's only like 30 minutes of mining. But you're not really done when you get your full diamond. You've now got access to enchantments and netherite.
3.
Side note, I actually will not be talking about netherite here because I am a chronic early game player who has never used it. Shocking. But I think it was overall a good addition despite my initial disgust at the idea of diamond not being the best thing ever. We're talking about enchantments today, and that's what I'm spending this whole one-step episode trying to figure out. Really quick, One Step is my survival series where I play for only an hour at a time, trying to get one project done each episode and talking about whatever's on my mind. Because this episode is all grinding for the table and other prep for the Ender Dragon, you're getting this essay instead of mindless rambling. Anyway, enchantments in Minecraft take a whole lot more setup than the normal grind for precious materials and gemstones. As mentioned previously, I am a chronic early gamer. I have personally barely touched enchanting. It's a huge time commitment if you don't initially set up for it, and I personally get by fine with efficiency 1 on my pickaxe. And that's the first issue with it, and the biggest reason why I'm referring to it as a red light.
Bruh.
Every other progression feature up till now requires very little waiting. If you want it, you can go get it. Simple as that. There is a time commitment in the form of exploring a cave or digging in a straight line, but you're getting something out of those actions during that time. So the waiting has a purpose. You can go find dungeons or geodes or cave biomes or a trial chamber while caving, and you'll get an excessive amount of cobble just by strip mining. Both are really beneficial to go alongside or sidetrack you from your dedicated grind to get 35 diamonds. And the only waiting you need to do is just wait for your iron to smelt. On the other hand, enchanting has a lot of built-in timers and delays. Enchanting requires an out-the-ass amount of leather and sugarcane. It also requires an out-the-ass amount of experience and patience waiting for the right enchantment to show up in your table. Maxing out your enchantment table, or making it worth your time and thus experience, needs 15 bookshelves. That needs 45 leather and 135 paper to make the 45 books needed for the 15 bookshelves. Oh, and like 90 wood, but that's low-key not a real impact. The bigger issue is 45 leather and 135 paper. You have two options for those: exploring or farming. Exploring the overworld has you looking for little patches of cows to pulverize. Then you're gonna go scrounge along shorelines and riverbeds for patches of sugarcane. Along the way, you'll stumble across villagers, pillager outposts, maybe even a temple or a shipwreck. But it's a really slow process. So if you're gonna find like 6 to 10 sugarcane and 48 cows, it's not worth it. Farming is the route that I always take because I like to settle down early. And this is where the actual timers are gonna come in. Sugarcane growth is slightly randomized based on ticks in-game, and cows can only be bred once every 5 minutes. Sugarcane grows really fast and can be planted by hand, so once you get a handful, you're kind of fine there. But cows are the issue. Now, cows are kind of like strip mining. You'll get another great resource from going through the boring wait of breeding and more waiting. You get beef. Steak is the best cookable meat in the game, so most players are already going to be gunning for a cow farm. You also can get 7 experience for breeding an animal and 5 experience per cow you kill, so you're going to naturally progress towards that 30 level barrier. But that setup takes a while. And also, I forgot to mention you need 1300 experience to get from 0 to 30. Like I said earlier, it takes 5 minutes before cows can breed again. And they also require 2 wheat to make a baby. So in reality, you need a sugarcane farm, a wheat farm, and a cow farm just to make 15 bookshelves. Mind you, those farms are easy to make. There's no redstone or spawn manipulation, just a lot of space. But they're multi-purpose, so it's great to have. I do appreciate this a lot out of the system. It encourages you to settle somewhere and establish yourself. You need to complete a stage of Maslow's hierarchy of needs to even think about enchanting. You need to be really self-sufficient before you start thinking, wow, I'd love efficiency 4 on this pickaxe just to mine a little bit faster. It's endgame by the nature of requiring you to establish yourself, instead of endgame because you killed a dragon and ender pearled your way to an end ship. Okay, I understand it sucks to make 3 farms or go scrounging and slaughtering for an enchantment table, but how can I make getting one more fun? I hear you cry. And to that I offer a simple solution that has been gaining a lot of traction in Minecraft YouTube recently. Take it slow. Crawl up to that red light. Take your foot off the gas. Take your time and just smell the roses. I've made it a point this whole video that you should be playing Minecraft in a way that's fun for you. And you can do that however you want. So if you find yourself rushing to be the most efficient and blitzing all the content in the game to get to an end of season Hermitcraft thumbnail worthy megabase, dude, calm down. If you're unk like me, you'll remember that iron golems held roses before they were replaced by poppies. By smelling the roses, I mean play with iron for a while. Try being a scared kid who didn't want to lose his diamonds and run only iron tools. That's it. Or honestly, you can try copper armor. I actually really liked my time wearing it in my Forever World. A kicker is that mobs get scarier and the game feels way less trivial to walk through. After almost dying to just 2 skeletons on normal mode, you'll probably go grab your diamond armor again and it'll actually feel like a genuine power improvement. So I say that because self-imposed challenge videos are the king of Minecraft YouTube right now, because self-imposed challenges have always been a core part of the game's identity. 404 and Skyblock are the Unk challenges, and Skyblock videos are still really popular. And I'm not talking about high pixel Skyblock, but I guess that's still popular too. What I'm saying is slow your gameplay down. Make your sugarcane farm and your cow farms small and let those timers run themselves out while you go play the rest of the game. If you let off the gas just a little early, you won't be rushing to wait. You'll be preoccupied so much you start forgetting you wanted to check in on those cows so often. You'll naturally get your 35 levels without ever thinking or worrying about them if you just play the game. I didn't even realize I had them until I looked down and saw I had like 32 on my hotbar. But anyway, your cows can always be checked back in on when you're ready. Minecraft has a lot of additional content besides Ender Dragon fights and giant buildings. Talking of buildings, building with slower tools will keep your build small. It'll feel more human. I've been to New York and to Boston, and a lot of Boston's like outer reaches, and especially its historic areas, feel way more inviting because they aren't freakishly tall. New York's a marvel in its own right, but I feel that too much grandeur and height in architecture makes the viewer small and feel worthless. By the way, Catholic architecture does it on purpose. Smaller human architecture makes it feel more welcoming. I think you'll really enjoy building a small bridge and not caring if it's hyper detailed. You can build it small and work on it later. There's no harm in that. There's a certain charm to less fleshed out builds.
Bruh.
Okay, what if you like running up to red lights and getting everything as fast as possible, but still hate the enchantment system? Well, you probably already know how easily you can skirt around that with villager trading. And if you didn't, well, my rant will get you up to speed. So, there's a reason I avoided mentioning villagers earlier. There's less waiting for things to grow, and as such, less exploring or farm building. There's no randomness in your enchants once you spam break your lectern to find your mending villager. There's still a good amount of time and energy invested in a villager trading halls, but if you find a village early and just decide to enslave them, now you have endgame loot by crafting a fuck ton of sticks. And now, I want it to be clear, I love villagers. They are my favorite part of the game. I'm always the village specialist in my friends' worlds. I genuinely love villagers so much, I keep trading halls out of my worlds. I let them free roam like chickens. They absolutely trivialize a lot of the game if you know how to use them, which again is not an issue. There's a reward to knowledge, that being endgame loot without bashing your head into an enchantment table over and over waiting for your next Prot 4. I personally didn't want to waste time killing Endermen in a warp forest after I saw how little they were dropping pearls, so last episode I traded with 2 villagers that I ended up trapping temporarily to get a lot of emeralds out of sticks, and then I made those emeralds into ender pearls with a high tier cleric. Villagers provide almost limitless workarounds for features of the game that take a lot of time. Mending, covered by librarians. Ender pearls, covered by clerics. Enchanted armor, covered by armorsmiths. Enchanted weapons, weaponsmiths. You get the point. Villagers are like a philosopher's stone for an alchemist. You break equivalent exchange. Or maybe a boatload of sticks really do just equal a mending book. I found a wonderful solution to prevent myself from having access to too much mending early. A completely optional game mode that goes beyond self-limitation. The experimental villager rebalance. And I know the experimental stuff isn't supposed to go in your forever world because what if it bugs out and breaks the world? That's okay, I'll make world backups in case anything breaks. But I truly love both the changes that they bring. The minecarts are really funny and actually somewhat worth it now. But more importantly, the broken parts of villagers are reworked in such a way that you can't actually abuse them. If you didn't know about the villager rebalance, it changes the enchantments librarians and the smiths can give. It locks them to certain biomes, and I think that's awesome. And they give cartographers, which are my second favorite villager, tied with the fisherman, and right behind, of course, the goat, the Fletcher, another function on top of just great structure location maps. Cartographers now give you different biome village maps. And to me, the coolest part is that those maps are locked to different biomes too. Meaning if you start in a plains, you can find a taiga, and a taiga could lead you back to a plains, or it could lead you to a snowy village. And it's all based on temperatures. I wholeheartedly love how convoluted the system is, and it really promotes exploration in a healthy way. So if your heart is full of whimsy and a love for exploration like mine, please go try the rebalance. Okay, so you've changed your vast mindset and you turned on the experimental villager rebalance at the start of your next world. But the enchantment system still sucks. And now you just made it harder to get around because of the rebalanced villagers. But you made the process more fun if you wanted to get around it. But if you want to gamble on books or double enchants, the table's still the place to be. And the table sucks. It costs 3 levels to get something you might have to reroll over and over, and there's no gotcha pull system yelling at you or letting you pull 10 at once. I'm not suggesting a gotcha system yet, but what I think would be really cool is the ability to influence the RNG aspect of enchanting. And we already have the block I think that could be used, the chiseled bookshelf. The bookshelf can hold normal blocks, signed books, and enchanted books. What if by adding chiseled bookshelves on top of your 15 bookshelves, you can have some say in what enchants show up? Villagers guarantee the enchant, sure, but let's give players the option to gamble, but with a stacked hand. I think it'd be cool if you could put low-level books you've either found or already made into the empty shelves, and that way you could guarantee yourself a higher-level version of them. Maybe you could make it have a crafting system where 2 related enchantments are next to each other in the shelf, and you can get a higher chance at the crafted enchantment. Say putting Bane of Arthropods and Smite together, you could guarantee yourself sharpness 4 or 5. To sum it up, I like gambling mechanics in games. I especially love the ability to have a say over what you're going to get. And I'm sure this would have no impact on multiplayer servers in any way. This was a long video, but with all that rambling and downtime, I have finally killed enough time to have my own max tier enchantment table. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed listening along to my opinions and hypotheticals, you should like and subscribe. More importantly, comment your own opinions. I love discussions, and I read and respond to each comment I get. One Step as a series so far has been a blast to make, and I'm having a good time taking Minecraft slow. That's all I've got for now. I've been your host, Welcome Matt. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.